Good evening, everyone. So today we are going to start with our interview preparation for the DevOps engineer role, right? So the first thing that we need to understand, self-introduction. This is the first question they will ask in every interview. Can you explain about yourself? That is the first question. And the second question, they will ask your roles and responsibilities. Okay. And the third question, they will ask you about explain about your project. Explain about your project. So these are the three questions they will ask. And second one is challenges you have faced. Challenges you have faced as DevOps engineer. What are the challenges that you have faced as a DevOps engineer? Okay. And what are your day-to-day activities as a DevOps engineer? Day-to-day activities as a DevOps engineer. All right. So these are the topics that we need to discuss. And next one, how to build your resume. How to build your resume. This is also another important topic that we need to discuss. Resume building. And next one, I will tell you what are your do's and don'ts. Do's and don'ts as software engineer in the company. What are the things that we need to do? What are the things we should not do as a software engineer in the company? Those points we are going to discuss. And I'm going to explain about your joining formalities in the company and your exit formalities in the company. What are your joining formalities and what are your exit? That means when you are going to join a company, what kind of documentation will be there? What are the things that we need to keep in the mind? Joining formalities, and similarly exit formalities. When I say exit formalities, so when you want to leave the company, what all the formalities we need to follow, those things also we are going to discuss. Okay. First one, self-introduction part. Second one, roles and responsibilities. Third one, about the project. Fourth one, challenges we have faced as a DevOps engineer. Fifth one, day-to-day activities as a DevOps engineer and how to prepare your resume. And once you join in the company, what are the do's and don'ts as a software engineer, and what are the joining formalities and what are the exit formalities will be there that we need to understand. Now, first let's discuss about self-introduction part. So I will be giving some points here, guys. So I want you people to go through the points and you need to practice that self-introduction. You need to record your voice in your mobile. So giving the self-introduction is very important. Okay, giving the self-introduction is very important and you need to be very confident when you are giving the self-introduction. So when we are starting with the self-introduction, so we need to divide the self-introduction in three parts, guys. Okay, so in the self-introduction part one, you explain about your details. Okay, your details, nothing but your name, your experience, your role. Okay, what is your name, how many years of experience you have, and what is your current role that you can explain. And coming to the part, your name, experience, role, and company, in which company currently you are working. So that part you need to cover in the part one. So I'm dividing your self-introduction into three parts. In the first part, you need to explain your details like your name, your experience, your role, and your company name. That's it. Then coming to part two, you need to explain about your project. Okay, and or else you can explain about your technical skills, guys. In the part two, you can explain about your technical skills, and in the part three, you can explain about your projects. So current project, you are working on which type of project now? What is your current project? Explain your current project. Current project or projects. Generally, DevOps people will work with multiple projects at a time. Okay, so you need to explain about your projects. And next one, if they are listening properly, then you can explain about your roles and responsibilities also. As part of the self-introduction only, you can explain your roles and responsibilities. Then they will not ask the question again on the roles and responsibilities. Okay, so when you are going for any interview, when they ask about your self-introduction, you need to keep these 4 points in your mind. So first part, you need to explain about your details. Second part, you need to explain about your technical skills. Third part, you need to explain about your current project. Fourth part, you need to explain about your roles and responsibilities. So how I am going to tell that? Okay, so let's listen carefully. If anybody asks me to introduce about myself, hi, my name is Ashok. I'm having total 7+ years of experience as a DevOps engineer. Currently, I'm working as a senior software engineer in a company called TCS. And coming to my technical skills, I'm having very strong knowledge on Linux operating system, DevOps tools like Git, Maven, Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes, Ansible, Terraform. And I'm also having the knowledge on AWS cloud services like EC2, S3, RDS, IAM, VPC, Lambdas, all these things from the AWS cloud. And coming to my current project, so I'm working on one health insurance application, and I'm working as a DevOps engineer for this application. This application is a full stack application. The front end of the application developed by using Angular, the back end of the application developed by using Spring Boot with microservices, and the database they are using as Oracle. And coming to my roles and responsibilities, so as a DevOps engineer, we are responsible to create the GitHub repositories for the development team when they are developing the new microservices, and we will provide the role-based access for those GitHub repositories, and we will set up the shared libraries in the Nexus for the teams to download the dependencies, and we are responsible to Dockerize the application by using Dockerfile, and we are responsible to create manifest files in order to deploy the application in the Kubernetes. I involved in Jenkins CI/CD pipeline creation based on the development team demand, and we are monitoring the resources and we are monitoring the pipelines. We automated the infrastructure creation by using Terraform. We automated the configuration management by using Ansible, and I have created several playbooks in the Ansible to do the configuration management, and I'm responsible to monitor and manage our application and our infrastructure services. This is all about myself. So like this, you need to explain about yourself. I have covered all the 4 parts in my explanation. Okay, what is my name, what is my experience, and what is my current role, and where I am working currently. And coming to the part 2, you need to explain about your technical skills. So as a DevOps engineer, mainly 3 things we need to mention: Linux operating system, DevOps tools, and AWS cloud services that you need to mention. Project, you can keep any project. I'm saying health insurance application full stack, front end, back end is available. So front end is by using Angular, back end is by using Spring Boot with microservices. And coming to roles and responsibilities, as a DevOps engineer, what we will do: infrastructure creation, configuration management, repository creation, code review, pipeline creation, role-based access, Dockerization, orchestration, monitoring, management. This process we are going to follow. These are our roles and responsibilities as a DevOps engineer. Okay, so let me write these points for you about the self-introduction. I hope you got the clarity. What are the sections that you need to cover as part of your self-introduction? Name, experience, role, and company name that you need to specify. And what are your technical skills that you need to specify. Your current project you need to specify. And your roles and responsibilities you need to specify. So coming to self-introduction, part 1. So I'm going to mention, so hi, I'm Ashok, I'm keeping some experience. You can change these values. 7 years experience as DevOps engineer with the AWS cloud platform. Currently, I'm working as senior software engineer in X company. Currently, I'm working as senior software engineer in some company. You can keep any company name. All right. And Coming to my technical skills, I'm having hands-on experience with. Coming to my technical skills, I'm having hands-on experience with DevOps tools, like Terraform, plus Ansible, plus Git, plus Maven, plus Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes, EFK, Prometheus, Grafana. I'm coming to my technical skills. I'm having hands-on experience with several DevOps tools like Terraform, Ansible, Git, Maven, Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes, EFK, Prometheus, Grafana, etc. Coming to the AWS cloud, I'm having hands-on experience with AWS cloud services. I'm having hands-on experience with AWS cloud services like EC2, S3, RDS, IAM, VPC, CloudWatch, SNS, Lambdas, etc. Like this. What are the services you know? I'm having experience with Linux operating system. I'm having work experience with Linux commands. Because as a DevOps engineer, we are going to work with Linux machines only every day. So you need to mention this part as your technical skills. I'm Ashok, having 7 years experience as a DevOps engineer with AWS Cloud. You are going to keep 3 or 4 years experience. Now you can keep like this. Hi, I'm your name. You can keep your name. Hi, having your experience, guys. Okay. So how many years of experience? Years of experience. So I'm Ashok, having 4 years experience as DevOps engineer with AWS Cloud Platform. Currently, I'm working as senior software engineer in particular company name. Okay, so you need to specify the name of the company that you are working, that you want to keep in your resume. Coming to my technical skills, I'm having hands-on experience with several DevOps tools like Terraform, Ansible, Git, Maven, Jenkins, SonarQube, Nexus, Git, Maven, SonarQube, Nexus, plus Jenkins, plus Docker, plus Kubernetes, plus EFK, plus Prometheus, plus Grafana. Okay, I'm having hands-on experience with AWS cloud services like EC2, S3, RDS, IAM, VPC, CloudWatch, SNS, Lambdas, etc. I'm having work experience with Linux commands also. And next one, coming to my project, currently I am working on health insurance application. Coming to my project, I'm working on health insurance applications. So these applications, these are microservices, health insurance applications. These applications are used to provide health and insurance plans for the citizens. And this application front end is developed by using Angular, and back end is developed by using Spring Boot plus microservices, Java Spring Boot microservices, we use it for backend, and the project database is Oracle. Okay, so this is about your project. So they don't ask much about the project because as a DevOps engineer, you are going to focus mainly on the infrastructure, right? Right. Coming to my project, I'm working on health insurance application. These applications are used to provide health and insurance plans for the citizens. The application front end is developed by using Angular. The application backend is developed by using Java Spring Boot microservices, and the database we used as Oracle. Okay, so these things we need to tell. And coming to the roles and responsibilities, so as a DevOps engineer, what are your roles and responsibilities will be available. Coming to my roles and responsibilities, coming to my roles and responsibilities, coming to my roles and responsibilities, creating infrastructure, creating infrastructure using Terraform, configuration management using Ansible, source code repositories creation using GitHub, source code repo creation using GitHub, role-based access for the team members in the GitHub, RBACs in the GitHub, that is role-based user management in GitHub basically. So which team member should have which permission in the GitHub? User management in GitHub we are going to do. Okay, and we are going to Dockerization, creating Docker files, and Dockerizing the application and Dockerizing applications, creating Kubernetes manifest files, orchestrating the application orchestration, Jenkins server management, pipelines creation, CI/CD pipelines creation, monitoring and managing the application, Okay, so these are the things that we are going to explain. And monitoring and creating the infrastructure using Terraform, configuration management by using Ansible, source code repository creation using GitHub, user management in the GitHub, and environments setup. So building environments like dev environment, sit environment, UAT environment, pilot environment, and prod environment. So project will be tested in the multiple environments. As a DevOps engineer, we are responsible to do those environments setup. Creating infrastructure by using Terraform, configuration management by using Ansible, source code repository creation by using GitHub, user management in the GitHub, environments setup like dev environment, sit multiple servers we are going to configure. So we are going to build that environment. Okay, and we need to Dockerize our applications. For that, we need to create the Docker files and Docker images we need to do, and code review, CI/CD pipeline, Jenkins server management, pipeline creation, code review, code quality checking. Basically, it is our responsibility. Code quality checking and monitoring and managing our applications which are available in the project. So these are the roles and responsibilities of the DevOps engineer. So when they ask about your self-introduction, so you keep these 4 points in your mind. When somebody asks you to explain about yourself, you need to explain your details, you need to explain your technical skills, you need to explain your current project, your projects. Okay, you can explain 1 or 2 projects also, no problem. Part 4, you can explain your roles and responsibilities. So hi, this is the introduction, that part I'm giving. Here I'm giving my information, my name, my role, my company name we are going to tell. Technical skills we are explaining. So these 3 things comes under technical part: DevOps tools, cloud services, and Linux. And coming to the project, I'm giving very basic introduction about my project, name of the project. Okay, what is the front end, back end, and database available in that. Because as a DevOps engineer, you will not know much about the project functionality, because you are not going to develop the project, you are not going to test the project. Your responsibility to do the operations on the project, infrastructure setup. You are going to do the infrastructure setup in the project. And coming to my roles and responsibilities, so creating infrastructure by using Terraform, configuration management by using Ansible, repository creation by using GitHub, user management by using GitHub, environments setup. So for the project, multiple environments will be available for the testing, like dev, SIT, UAT, pilot, and prod environments will be available. We need to build those environments based on the management demand. Then we need to do the Dockerization. We need to take care of the manifest files, and we need to do the orchestration of the application, and we need to do the servers management by using Jenkins, and pipelines we need to create. Code quality checking also we need to do, and we need to monitor and manage our applications. These are the roles and responsibilities. Okay, so you can keep multiple projects also in your resume. What are the projects that you need to mention? So projects to mention in your resume. You can keep 2 projects. Okay, just name of the project, that is fine. So project one that you can keep as health insurance system, which you can keep as HIS. And second project that you can keep, project 2, you can keep some e-commerce application. E-commerce application, you can say that you are working for one project called Milton e-commerce application is available. You can, so health insurance, you can say it is under development, it is not in the production. And Milton.com, Milton, one of the e-commerce application is available, where you can purchase your homeware, kitchenware material like bottles, bowls and all. We can find out in the Milton. So go to Milton online shopping application. So this online shopping project is there. You can say that we worked on this project, automation, build and deployment process. So Milton project, you can say this is one of the e-commerce store, guys. One of the e-commerce store, you can keep like this. This e-commerce store you can keep, right? So health insurance system, project 1, you can say it is in UAT. That means currently the testing is going on. The final project is not ready. It is not in the production. You can't access. Second project, e-commerce, the Milton application, you can see it is online e-commerce store. These things you can keep in your resume. You can keep 2 projects. Generally, in the real time, one DevOps team will be managing multiple projects. One DevOps team will be managing multiple projects. Are you clear? How to do the self-introduction?
Sir, can you also add the like, let's say if you're working with a healthcare project, right? So what is the business aspects of your project? So
Yeah,
can you
generally,
explain?
so business aspects that are not required for the DevOps team, because DevOps team will not deal with that business. Okay, so you will not understand what are the modules available in the project, that is not required for you. Basically, DevOps team will not know about it. We are mainly focusing on infrastructure creation, deployments, and all that. So the business modules, functionality, that is important for the developers and testers, not for the DevOps people. You will not know what are the modules available, what functionality available, how the business is generating. That is not our business. That is not our duty in the company actually. All right?
Yeah.
Good.
Just if you can give a demo just from the developer perspective, it will be good, sir.
Yeah. Guys, are you clear with the self-introduction part? So keep these 4 points in your mind when you are going to introduce about yourself.
If they will ask for experience later, then?
You need to take the experience letter from the consultancy, right? When you are going for the experience interview, definitely you need the experience documents. Those documents will be given by consultancy people.
Okay.
Guys, can you read all the points of self-introduction, roles and responsibilities, and projects that we need to mention? Can anybody want to introduce about themselves now? Anybody want to try? Anybody want to try? No? Okay. Now, so I hope you are clear. What is your introduction that you need to give? How to explain your details? How to explain your technical skills? How to explain your project? How to explain your roles and responsibilities? And projects to keep in your resume. You can keep 2 projects. One is health insurance, which is under development. It is in the testing phase, not live. Second one is e-commerce. You can show the Milton application. We worked on the e-commerce application. You can say that we are managing 2 projects parallelly. So generally in the company also, one DevOps team will manage multiple projects parallelly. Developers will be dedicated to one project. Testers will be dedicated to one project. Whereas DevOps team not dedicated to single project. One DevOps team will be dealing with multiple projects at a time. Then coming to day-to-day activities of the DevOps engineer. So once you join in the company, what are our day-to-day activities as a DevOps engineer? So everything that every day we are going to first check our emails. So in the company, all the communication will happen through emails only. First thing we need to check, suppose your office time is 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Okay, some people will work on 11 o'clock shift, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Some people will work 2 to 11 shift. Okay, so whenever your login time is there, once you log in into your laptop, the first thing that you need to check is your email inbox. Okay, so what are the mails available? Any conversation in the companies, in the corporate, the conversation will happen through emails only. First thing we need to check is our email inbox. Okay, so you will understand, is there any problem in the project today? Is there any problem in the project today? Okay, and is there any escalation in the project? Is there any break in the infrastructure? Is there anything broken in the infrastructure? Any issue that teams are facing that requires the help of DevOps team? So all those things you can find out in the email. Then, so some emails you just need to read for the information, and sometimes for the emails your reply is also required. Suppose if there is a critical issue from the infrastructure side, developers are not able to proceed, they have sent the email to the DevOps team. So you check your email, and you read all the emails. You will identify what are the meetings scheduled today. In the corporate, every day minimum 2 to 3 hours meetings will be available. So in that email, you will understand what all the meetings available today. Okay, if required, we need to provide replies for those emails, and check meetings scheduled today. Checking meetings scheduled today and get ready for those meetings. Okay, so today maybe there is a grooming meeting, backlog grooming meeting, sprint planning meeting, or some discussion with the release team, some discussion with the management team. So meetings will be available. Once you check the emails, then you will understand what all the meetings are there. So first thing that we need to check is our email inbox. If required, we need to provide replies to those emails. So check meetings scheduled today in the Outlook. Okay, check today's meeting schedules, meetings scheduled for today, and get ready for those meetings. So this is the first thing that we need to do once we log in into our system. So every software engineer, not only DevOps engineer, not only developer, everybody, first they need to check their email, and they will go through all the pending emails, and they will look into those emails, and with those emails only will understand who is on leave in the team, who is working today, what is the issue, how the project, what is the process. Basically, you will understand through email communication, and check for the meetings. Once these things are completed, check Jira dashboard. Check the Jira dashboard. So check the Jira dashboard. Any stories assigned? Any stories assigned to your bucket, assigned to your name. So because development team will be sending the request, some team will send, developers will ask you to create the Git repositories. They will ask you to give the permission for the repository. They will ask you to create the Jenkins pipeline, or they are facing some issue with the Jenkins pipeline. So they will send the emails for you, or they will create the story in the Jira. They will assign the Jira story for you. Okay, so once your emails checking is completed, once replies are completed, check the meeting schedules. Once all the process is done, then go next step that you need to do, go to Jira dashboard, and you check what are the stories assigned to your name. Check the Jira dashboard, any stories assigned to your name. Check, see stories assigned on your name. Then whatever the stories are assigned on your name, you work on those stories. Work on those stories which are in your bucket. which are in your bucket. What are the tasks assigned to your name? You work on that task. Suppose if stories are not assigned, then check pending stories in Jira and work on that. So mostly they will assign the story for you. If nobody is not, if the people are, if your project is not assigning the stories to you, then you go and find the story. You check what is the pending available in the project. You take one pending item, you start working on that. If there is nothing pending, then you inform to management, today there is no work for you. If there is nothing pending, if there is no task for you, then immediately update to your higher management, maybe your scrum master, or maybe your tech lead, or maybe your manager, who is going to manage your work, right? Who will observe your work. Your higher authority people will be available. If you don't have any task, you should not sit idle in the project. So if you have task, you work on that and you complete that. If you don't have a task, you check, is there anything pending for the DevOps team in your project? Check the Jira dashboard. You identify the work and you start working on that. There is nothing that you can do today. Then don't sit idle and you talk to your management team. Tell them that, so there is no task for me to do today. So can you tell me what I need to do? So that they will guide you. If you don't ask them, they will question you. If you don't have any work, then why are you not informing us? Why are you wasting our time? Why are you doing the time pass? You are paid for today, but you have not done anything. So such kind of questions will come. That's why if there is no task for you, immediately you report to your higher management people, like your scrum master will be there, your tech lead will be available, or your manager will be available, who will assign the task for you. You got my point? Then once it is done, suppose they may, if the work is not there, they may ask you to do some POC, some proof of concept. Okay, if no work is there, if there is no work in project, then management may ask to work on R&D and POC, research and development. Currently we are using AWS cloud. Why can't we go for Azure? So they may ask you to do some research. They may ask you to compare the differences between AWS and Azure. They may ask you to compare AWS and GCP. So currently we are using Nexus. Why can't we go for JFrog? Currently we are using Jenkins. Why can't we go for Argo CD? So they may, if there is no work in the project, then management may ask to work on R&D and POC. POC nothing but proof of concept. If they give some task for you, you need to do some research and you need to implement that, and you need to show your implementation to them. That is called as a POC. You need to show your implementation to them, that you can show to your team members. Okay. Are you able to follow me? First thing we need to check is our email inbox. If required, we need to provide replies to those emails. Then check the meetings scheduled for today. Get ready for those meetings. Then check the Jira dashboard. See the stories assigned to your name. Work on those stories which are in your bucket. Okay. If stories are not assigned, then check pending stories in the Jira and work on them. If there is no task, then immediately you need to report to your management. Then they will tell you what to do. If there is no pending work in the project, then they will ask you to do some R&D, like some POCs they will ask you to implement. Okay, then join daily scrum call. Join daily scrum call and give work updates to Scrum Master. So every day Scrum call will be available in the project, 15 to 20 minutes of time. Every day 15 to 20 minutes of time. Daily 15 to 20 minutes time meeting will be available. In that meeting, we need to give our work updates to the Scrum Master. What kind of work updates we need to give? Working on which story? Working on which story? When it will be completed? When it will be completed? And any challenges to complete? Any challenges to complete? Any help is required? Any help is required to complete the story. So every day Scrum call will be available in the project. That maybe in some projects that Scrum call will happen in the morning. In some projects the Scrum call will happen in the evening. So you need to join that daily Scrum call and give the work updates to the Scrum Master. So in that Scrum call you need to tell you are working on which story and when that story will be completed, and do you have any challenges to complete the story, any help is required to complete that, any blocker issues, any blockers. So do you have anything, is there anything that is blocking you to proceed further? So any challenges that you are facing, any issues, any blockers available, that you need to inform to your Scrum Master. Working on which story and when that story will be completed. Do you have any challenges to complete that story? Do you need any help from the team? Do you have any blockers? So these things you need to explain to your Scrum Master in the Scrum call. So this is basically your day-to-day activity as a DevOps engineer. Can you read these points? Can you read the points of day-to-day activities of DevOps engineer?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, sir. Sir, which task DevOps engineer do in daily? Means which task? Which tools the DevOps engineer work in daily? Like
It can be anything, right? The task may be related to infrastructure creation, may be related to repository creation, may be related to
okay,
permissions giving, pipeline creation, monitoring, troubleshooting, checking the logs. It can be anything. So we
okay, sir.
can't say that, right? Every day you will get some different task. So sometimes
Okay.
you will get the task related to create one virtual machine in the cloud by using Terraform. Sometimes you will get a task to copy the files by using Ansible. Sometimes you will get a task to create the Git repository. Okay. Sometimes you will get
Okay.
a task to give the permissions for the DevOps team to do the code commits to the Git repository. They may ask you to do some R&D. They may ask you to do monitoring the pipeline. So developers not able to run the Jenkins pipeline is failing. So why the pipeline is failing, you need to troubleshoot. So the tasks can be anything.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Sir, excuse me, what do you mean by R&D?
R&D means research. Anything which is not there in the project, you need to analyze and you need to implement it. Research and development. Suppose in your project, you are using Jenkins. So manager asked you to do some R&D on the Argo CD. So you need to research on the Argo CD tool in the internet and you need to implement that and you need to show one demo. That is called POC, proof of concept. Whatever the research they will give you time to do some research on the new topic, new tool. So you need to research and you need to do a small implementation and you need to show them. That is called a POC, proof of concept. Whatever the analysis you have done, what analysis you have done, how it is helping your project, you need to do a POC and you need to give the demo on the POC. Okay. So are you clear with the day-to-day activities? And what type of tasks we will get as a DevOps engineer? Okay, someone asked that. So here I told you, they will assign the story for you. They will assign the task for you. What type of tasks we will get as a DevOps engineer? What type of tasks? What type of tasks will be assigned to DevOps team member? So you are going to join as a DevOps team member in the project. So what kind of tasks they will assign to the DevOps team member? Now, so the first thing, they may assign a task to do the infrastructure creation, writing Terraform scripts, infrastructure provisioning using Terraform, and the next one, they will ask you to build new environments. That means multiple servers you need to create for the dev environment, SIT environment, UAT environment, pilot environment, and prod environment. Like this, you need to build multiple environments, build new environment, infrastructure provisioning by using Terraform, building new environment, okay, creating repositories, creating Git repos, Git or Bitbucket, access permissions, giving the permissions, read and write permissions for the team members, sometimes remove the permission, sometimes add the permission for the team members. Access permissions will be available, and you may get a task for configuration management, Ansible playbooks creation, to copy some files or to install a software, uninstall the software. Such kind of work they will assign you. Then you need to work on the Ansible part for the playbooks. You need to write. Then you need to set up servers. When I say build environment, nothing but servers setup only. Jenkins server, Docker server, Kubernetes cluster, those servers we need to set up. Environment setup, nothing but the infrastructure creation. What are the machines are required? What are the servers? Sonar server setup, Docker setup, Kubernetes cluster setup. All those things comes under environment setup. Based on the development team request, you need to create the Git repositories and you need to manage access permissions for the repositories. Read access, write access that you need to manage, and you need to write the playbooks for the configuration management. And pipeline creation. You will get the task to do the CI/CD pipeline creations, CI/CD pipeline creation, modification, etc. Okay, pipeline creation, modification, such kind of things. The tasks will be available. Pipeline execution task also. Sometimes in the project pipelines, we don't give the access for the dev team to execute, especially for UAT environment, prod environment pipelines, they can't execute. They will ask you to execute. As a DevOps team member, you need to execute it, and you are responsible for monitoring what all the resources servers are running. You need to do the monitoring, and sometimes they will ask you to work on some R&D. Sometimes they will ask you to do some POC and provide KT sessions, prepare documents, prepare documentation. Suppose you are doing the cluster setup for your project. You created an environment called a dev environment. So for the dev environment, you created virtual machines, you installed all the softwares, your machines are ready, Jenkins ready, Kubernetes, everything. What is the process you followed to set up the infrastructure? They will ask you to do the documentation, because tomorrow, if you are not there in the team, a new team member should be able to build the new environment. So that's why whatever the work that you are doing, okay, they will ask you to do the documentation of that work, and they will ask you to provide the KT sessions. KT sessions, nothing but knowledge transfer. Whenever a new team member join, then you need to explain about your project. You need to explain about your project information, work information, all the informations to the onboarding the new team member. We need to provide the KT for the new team members. So these kind of tasks will be assigned for you. Preparing the documentation, providing the KT, in-house trainings. They may ask you to conduct a training for your team members, in-house trainings. So your team member is new to particular tool, you are having knowledge on the tool, okay? Then your manager may ask you to provide some training for the team members on the new tool. So then you will go with the in-house trainings. So you need to take the training for the people. So these kind of tasks will be assigned to the DevOps team member. Infrastructure provisioning by using Terraform, building the new environment, nothing but servers setup, creating the repositories, managing the permissions for those repositories, playbooks creation for configuration management, pipeline creation for the automating the build and deployment, pipelines execution requests will come, monitoring tasks will be available, R&D, any new tool that we want to use, then we need to do some research and we need to implement. They may ask you to do some POC for you. A POC, that means any topic that you analyzed, you need to prepare a demo on the POC. And whatever the work you are doing, for that work, they will ask you to prepare some documentation so that new team members can go through the documents and they can understand how to work in the project. When the new team member joined in the project, they will ask you to provide some KT sessions. And when there is no work in the project, your management may ask you to take some trainings for the freshers. Okay, so some freshers joined in your team. For the freshers, you need to provide some training. So those kind of tasks will be assigned to you. Okay. Is it clear? Are you clear with my point? Any questions so far? Lot of theory we are discussing. Any questions so far?
Sir, what is playbook creation exactly?
Ansible configuration, sir. Ansible tool, DevOps tool is there, Ansible. In that Ansible, we will write the playbooks to do the configuration. Playbooks creation for Ansible. That is another DevOps tool. So these kind of tasks will be assigned to DevOps team member. These kind of tasks will be assigned to the DevOps team member. And these are the day-to-day activities of DevOps engineer. And this is how you need to give your self-introduction as a DevOps engineer.
So, sir, how can we explain like the project that we work on?
Sorry?
How can we explain the project that we work on?
Sir, DevOps engineer project means infrastructure creation, server setup, environment setup. Developers project different, DevOps projects are different.
Okay, because on the project you put e-commerce, all the
Yeah, they don't ask much about the project, because for DevOps people, they will ask more about the infrastructure,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got you. Okay.
building the new environment. Environment setup means servers setup. Docker
Mhm.
server, Kubernetes server. For dev environment, Docker server. For a dev environment, Kubernetes cluster. For a dev environment, SonarQube. Similarly, for SIT, Docker. For SIT, SonarQube, like that. Multiple servers we need to set up for every environment. Environment creation, nothing but we need to prepare the platform in order to deploy our application. That is called environment setup.
So
So
how
will
we
you do
going
this?
to implement how we going to introduce the Kubernetes platform, because you say the deployment going to be done on Kubernetes, right?
Yes, Kubernetes cluster setup we need to do. We need to create EKS cluster. So you will create multiple clusters. So one cluster name you will give as a dev cluster, another cluster you will give as SIT cluster, another cluster you will give the name as UAT cluster, like that. You will create the clusters and we will call them as environments.
Okay. So each environment have its own cluster.
Yes.
So what is the minimum cluster we can at least?
Yeah, I will tell you the numbers. So what are the minimum number of worker nodes will be available in the cluster? What
Yeah.
type of machines we will use in the cloud? Okay, we have used T2 micro for our practice, but in the real time micro will not be used,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So we will discuss
Okay.
on that.
Okay.
Sir, how
Sir,
to introduce ourselves
Yeah.
if we need gap in
Your
our
voice
career?
is not audible, Sushmita.
How to introduce ourselves, sir, if we have any career gaps?
Yeah, we will discuss on that. How to cover the gap and how to prepare the resume session. I will tell you that. Okay. So mainly I covered self-introduction part, how you need to introduce about yourself as a DevOps engineer, and how to explain your roles and responsibilities as a DevOps engineer. What are the projects that you need to mention in your resume, and what are the day-to-day activities? So how your day will be there in the company as a DevOps engineer. And I explained that what kind of tasks will be assigned to you on daily basis if you are working as a DevOps engineer. These points I have covered. Okay, so tomorrow we are going to discuss about what are the do's and don'ts as a software engineer. Then I will explain about how to show the gap as experience, and finally I will show you some sample resumes and I will give the templates so that you can work on your resume part tomorrow. So today I want all of you to go through these things and practice the self-introduction, roles and responsibilities using your mobile selfie video. So after reading this document, you record your video and you listen to your video so that you will understand how confidently you are explaining about yourself, you are explaining about your project, you are explaining about your roles and responsibilities, so that you will understand how much you need to improve with respect to communication, with respect to body language, with respect to the confidence levels. So please do the practice in your mobile. You don't need to send that video to me. You just record that video and you watch it. Then you will understand whether your confidence is good or not. If you are not having that confidence, you need to do that practice for multiple times. That is a way that you need to follow to practice your self-introduction, roles and responsibilities and all. Okay.
So how about the project that you gave us? When are we going to go over?
Sorry?
The project that you gave us, when are we going to go over?
Yeah, I will implement. If you guys are able to complete, no issue. If not, I will implement the project. I will create this pipelines.
Yeah, create
Yes, sir.
pipeline, sir.
Yes, sir. Create the pipeline in the real time.
Sure, sir. I will do it. No
End-to-end
issue.
process.
Once all this
End-to-end
preparation is
process.
completed, some people are able to complete 3 projects. Some people are not able to. So I will do that. Okay.
Sir, how to create the dev, SIT, and prod all the environment? Just do
Sir,
it like
environment creation is nothing but just server setup only. We are setting up the Sonar server, right? So in the AWS, we will set up the Sonar server. They will call it as a dev Sonar server. That's it. Environment setup means what all the tools are required. You need to set up all the tools. That is called environment setup.
Actually, I have no idea like how to set up in the AWS.
You got my point? Environment setup, nothing but setting up all the resources, all the machines which are ready to do the build and deployment. That is called environment setup.
Like Dave, SIT, and all those.
Yes, correct.
So, sir, will you be able to do the Nginx?
Nginx is just a web server like HTTP. If you want to deploy some static websites, then we are going to use that Nginx.
But you say you're gonna integrate it with Kubernetes and show us how to do the deployment.
Not getting your question. Can you type in the chat box, please?
I say you were saying if you're going to implement and integrate Nginx on Kubernetes, like
Yeah,
Nginx
sure, we
as a
can do
pod.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, only 3 projects, or do we have any other projects like in the
That is fine,
starting?
madam. You can keep any number of projects, but keeping 2 to 3 projects is sufficient. How many years of experience you want to keep?
3.
For 3 years, 2 projects are sufficient.
No, sir, in the starting, you told that you will be teaching us like 5 projects, no?
Okay, you are talking about those are, I mean, when I say 5 projects means 5 different scenarios we are going to take and we'll implement the pipeline. Those are the 5 different projects that we are going to try. Already 3 things I have given as a task now. Another 2 things we will do. 5 projects means 5 different ways that we are going to build our environments, 5 different ways we are going to automate the project deployment process.
Sir,
Yeah, hi.
please, the project you are giving to us, when are you going to review it?
Yes, I will review that. Have you done that process completion?
Some of us are hanging somewhere.
Are you done with all those projects?
Sir,
Sure, I
I
will
said
review
some of
that.
us are hanging somewhere.
Yeah, I will review that.
Sir, actually, in project tree, your front end image is not working, sir. Actually, I guess your in your Docker Hub, the image is not available, I guess, sir. We are facing some pullback error, sir, actually.
Okay, I will check that.
Yes, sir. Due to that, I have replaced my own image and then have executed, sir. But application is working as expected. But I just wanted to tell you that in project tree.
I will check that image, sir. What is the issue with that image? I will check that.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Can I use this Milton project in my introduction while giving?
Yeah, you can tell that, no issue. Milton is there, Decathlon is there. So many e-commerce projects are there.
Okay, sir. Means if anyone means we don't know exactly who is doing this project. So if this person is doing same project, so how can?
उस time वो बहुत rare scenario होता है. You can tell that, no issue.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, sir. Sir, last time I told you I have an interview. So, sir, now my interview is rescheduled. They give one technical test, but in 2 to 3 days after. So, sir, can you please tell me what type of test they give? Because this position is only junior DevOps engineer. The
They may
basic,
ask
like
you to work on some Kubernetes, or they may ask you to work on
no,
some
no, no.
Terraform.
They want only knowledge of Docker and Kubernetes. Knowledge. They required only knowledge, and only they want Linux, Windows, and Terraform, and the Jenkins, and the script like Bash, Bash script and Groovy script, and like this, sir. They need only basic.
Okay,
This is a 2 years experience junior DevOps engineer position.
Got it. I mean,
Sir,
so we can't guess what kind of task they will give you. That how can we guess that? It
I
depends
mean,
on
sir,
them.
what type of question in this test, online test?
हमको कैसे पता चलेगा?
But sir, means junior position, what type of question?
Whatever it is, madam. So whatever the company policy is there, how I will understand that.
Yes,
आप सारा
sir.
tools prepare करो अच्छे से.
Okay.
Whatever they ask, you will be ready to answer. But we can't guess what they are going to ask, right?
Okay, sir. Okay,
So
sir.
suppose
They will ask mostly conceptual questions, sir.
as you are saying that junior developer, na, they will ask more conceptual questions.
Okay, sir.
What is
Okay,
the tool? What is the purpose of the tool? What some commands related to the Docker, some commands related to Kubernetes. How to create the pods, how to write the YML, how to check the logs of the pods.
okay.
and how to deal with the config maps and secrets, how to do the deployment,
Okay,
how
sir.
to
Okay.
scale them, how to scale the pods.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Because of sir,
It
this is
should
my first
it should be
interview.
like
That's why
online
I-
assessment.
Maybe they may go with online assessment for you. We don't know.
Yeah, you
Okay, sir.
probably might only have the multiple choice questions.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me. Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, when are you likely to conclude this program with us?
Sorry, sir, can you come again?
So when are you likely to conclude the program with us? I mean the time frame.
Conclusion, maybe next week we will conclude it.
Sir, there is a one, I have given one interview.
Mhm.
So they asked me which type of SonarQube vulnerabilities you faced. Can you explain?
You can say that code smells.
No, means the type of vulnerabilities you faced.
Okay, I will send the list of that, sir.
Okay.
Okay, good guys, thank you. So I'm stopping now. We'll meet tomorrow. So please practice before coming to tomorrow. How to introduce about yourself, roles and responsibilities, all these things. Record your video and check it, whether you are confidently explaining or not.